All right, comrades, welcome to the mercury-bursting intensity of Deep Dive Three Kingdoms EP6, with me, Brother Tong, as always. Let's continue the thrill from the previous episode. After the god Guan Yu created the legend of casting off the rebel yoke, abandoning the gold, sealing the treasures, and hanging the official seal of Han Shaoting Marquis to return to Cao Cao without a second thought, he then rode the red hare, escorting his two sisters-in-law, and soared out of the gates of Xuchang majestically. Cao Cao even had to ride after him to see him off at Ba Chao Bridge, giving him a gold-broidered robe as a final farewell with absolute sorrow. It was considered the most powerful and painful farewell in the Three Kingdoms. But comrades, stepping out of Prime Minister Cao Cao's territory this time wasn't a chill trip back to his hometown, but a declaration of war against the greatest army in the land. Because Guan Yu fled without a border pass or official permission, and the route heading north to find Liu Bei with Yuan Shao required passing through 5 passes of brutal fortresses, each guarded by tens of thousands of Cao Cao's elite troops. Simply put, Guan Yu was driving his sisters-in-law's carriage to crash into a steel wall bare-handed. The first pass Guan Yu had to face was Dongling Pass. This pass was a strong frontier fortress with towering walls, guarded by a general named Kong Xiu. Comrades, this Kong Xiu was no amateur, but an extremely arrogant and aggressive general. When the guards reported that Guan Yu arrived with a carriage at the gate, Kong Xiu ordered 1,000 soldiers to form a line, tightly blocking the gate. Kong Xiu wore full armor, rode out to stand in the way, and pointed his finger, asking with an arrogant voice, "Stop right there! Lord Guan Yu, where are you taking this carriage?" Guan Yu clasped his hands and answered calmly initially, "I am traveling to Hebei to find my big brother Liu Bei. Please, open the way for me." Kong Xiu smirked and asked a piercing question. "Going to find Liu Bei? Liu Bei is an enemy of Prime Minister Cao Cao. To cross the border to find an enemy. Do you have a border pass from the Prime Minister?" Guan Yu answered truthfully, "I left in a hurry, so I did not request a pass." Upon hearing that there was no pass, Kong Xiu burst into roaring laughter. "Having no pass means you are a deserter and a rebel. Martial law clearly states that anyone without a command token is strictly forbidden from passing this gate. If you insist on entering, I will have to hold the 2 ladies as hostages and send someone to ask the Prime Minister first." Comrades, the word hostage was Guan Yu's absolute boiling point. Guan Yu, whose duty was to protect his sisters-in-law with his life, upon hearing this sentence, the veins on his temples throbbed. His previously calm eyes widened, turning blood red like flames. The god of war's patience snapped in a split second. Guan Yu no longer responded with words. He slapped the red hare's reins. "He!" The red hare let out a thunderous neigh, charging forward with a speed the naked eye could barely track. Kong Xiu was absolutely shocked, hurriedly drawing his spear to defend himself. But the speed of the red hare, combined with Guan Yu's power, was pure devastation. Guan Yu closed the distance in a single strike. The 82 Jin Green Dragon crescent blade swung up, slicing through the air. Chop! The sound of steel cutting through bone and flesh echoed loudly. The blade sliced Kong Xiu's body clean off from the shoulder. Blood spurted out, splattering the pass gates. The body of the arrogant general fell from his horse, dead on the spot, before he could even execute a single martial arts stance. The 1,000 guards at the gate, seeing this ruthlessness like the King of Hell reincarnated, went weak in the knees, dropped their weapons, and scattered for their lives like a broken beehive. Guan Yu roared across the pass. "I, Guan Yu, only killed Kong Xiu who stood in my way. Anyone who doesn't want to die, open the gates now." The panicking guards hurriedly opened the gates, allowing Guan Yu to boldly drive his sisters-in-law's carriage through. The first pass, Dongling Pass, was shattered with a single swing. But this was just a warm-up, comrades, because Guan Yu had just officially made enemies of Cao Cao's entire army. The news of Kong Xiu's death would be sent to the second pass, Luoyang, very quickly. And at this Luoyang Pass, there wasn't just an aggressive general standing foolishly in the way, but they prepared a death trap to welcome the god. How will Guan Yu break through the second pass? The structure of Part 2 is waiting to crush it. Cut from the corpse of Kong Xiu at the first pass, comrades. The news of Guan Yu's ruthlessness, slicing a general in half with a single swing, blew to the ears of the defenders of the second pass, Luoyang, faster than wildfire. At this Luoyang Pass, there was a governor named Han Fu and his trusted top general named Meng Tan. Both of them sat sweating in the command estate because they knew well that the god Guan Yu was as strong as a demon. If they led the army out to clash directly at the gates, they would end up as minced pork, just like Kong Xiu. Meng Tan, the cunning general, proposed the luring the tiger into a trap stratagem to Han Fu. Lord Governor, that beautiful bearded man is strong indeed, but he is alone and has to worry about protecting his sisters-in-law's carriage. I will ride out to challenge him, block his blade for a few rounds, and fake a defeat, riding away to lure him into chasing me. Once he enters the narrow ambush point, you can order the archers to shoot him full of holes like a honeycomb. Han Fu slapped his knee upon hearing the plan. He laughed wickedly. Ha ha ha! Brilliant plan! Today will be the end of the god Guan Yu. Not long after, comrades, dust billowed on the horizon. Guan Yu, riding the red hare, led the lady's carriage to the gates of the Luoyang Pass. Meng Tan didn't hesitate. He ordered the gates opened and rode out with his soldiers to stand firmly in the way. You rebel Guan Yu! You killed Kong Xiu at Dongling Pass. Do you think you can escape the spears and swords of Luoyang Pass? Do you have a border pass from Prime Minister Cao Cao? Meng Tan shouted his challenge. Guan Yu narrowed his eyes, seeing right through the arrogance, and answered with a bone-chilling voice. I have no pass, and I have no time to argue with you. Step aside before my blade drinks the blood of a second person. Such a big mouth. Take my spear. Meng Tan faked bravery, thrusting his spear at Guan Yu. Guan Yu raised the green dragon blade to parry. Clang! Clang! After clashing for only 3 stances, Meng Tan pretended he couldn't match the strength, turned his horse around, and galloped away into a narrow valley, exactly as planned. Meng Tan rode away smirking, thinking to himself, You're screwed, beautiful bearded man. Follow me to hell! Guan Yu saw the enemy fleeing, slapped the red hare's reins, and galloped in hot pursuit immediately. But, comrades, Meng Tan miscalculated one thing in this plan, a mistake that cost him his life. He forgot that the horse Guan Yu was riding wasn't an ordinary horse, but the red hare, the fastest supreme steed in the land. Before Meng Tan could even ride into the archer's ambush point, the sound of the red hare's hooves thundered close, right at his neck. Meng Tan turned back to look in absolute shock. Guan Yu closed in as if he'd teleported right behind him. The green dragon blade was swung high, reflecting the sun. Chop! The blade sliced Meng Tan's body clean in 2, blood splattering the ground. The luring the tiger into a trap plan failed miserably because of the speed of the supreme steed. At that second, Han Fu, the governor who was hiding on the hill, saw his trusted subordinate get sliced to pieces right before his eyes and panicked entirely. Han Fu knew that if he let Guan Yu survive, he would definitely die. So he drew his bow loaded with a poisoned arrow, aimed at Guan Yu and fired with all his might. Whoosh! The arrow pierced the air straight at Guan Yu. But Guan Yu's reflexes were lightning fast. He dodged, and the arrow just barely grazed his shoulder. Guan Yu sharply turned to look at the direction the arrow came from, his godlike eyes blazing with vengeful fire. He locked on to Han Fu, who was standing trembling on the hill. "You backstabbed me?" Guan Yu roared, turning the red hare and charging up the hill through hundreds of soldiers like a tank with broken brakes. Han Fu hurriedly drew his sword to defend himself, but it was too late. Guan Yu swung the green dragon blade across Han Fu's neck. Snicked! The head of the Luoyang governor flew off his shoulders, rolling down the hill. Comrades, the second pass, Luoyang, was shattered. Guan Yu killed 2 generals in one go. Corpses littered the battlefield. The Luoyang soldiers dropped their weapons, kneeled, and bowed their heads, begging for their lives. Guan Yu flicked the blood off his blade, walked back to his sisters-in-law's carriage, and passed through Luoyang's gates like a victor. 2 passes crossed, 3 generals slain, but the path to hell was just beginning. Because the third pass, Shishui Pass, that Guan Yu was heading to wasn't just a battle of strength, but a psychological and poisonous war hidden in the guise of an old friend. How will Guan Yu survive the dirty trick in the Buddhist temple? Let's catch the thrill in Part 3. Cut to the boiling intensity in Part 3, comrades. The red hare galloped like a firestorm, leaving the corpses of 3 generals behind. Now, Guan Yu drove his sisters-in-law's carriage right to the throat of the third pass, Shishui Pass, Shishui Guan. The commander of this pass was a 2-faced general named Bian Shi. Comrades, this Bian Shi was no ordinary man. He was a former Yellow Turban rebel before surrendering to Cao Cao, highly skilled in using hidden weapons like the meteor hammer, and, importantly, he was extremely cunning and deceitful. Bian Shi received an express report that Guan Yu had just sliced 3 generals dead. He knew that leading an army out to block the gates directly would leave him as nothing more than minced meat. So he pulled out the temple assassination plan, the dirtiest and most cold-blooded trick of all. Bian Shi ordered the soldiers to open the pass gates wide. He didn't wear battle armor, but ordinary official robes, and walked out smiling brightly, clasping his hands and bowing to welcome Guan Yu from afar. "Oh, wow! Lord Guan Yu! I, Bian Shi, have been waiting for your visit for a long time. I know well that you are loyal to your big brother and are traveling to find Liu Bei. I greatly admire your loyalty. Please rest and drink some tea at the Zhenguo Temple in the city. I have prepared a welcome banquet for you." Seeing the other party approach with good intentions and no hostility, Guan Yu lowered his guard. Coupled with his sisters-in-law being exhausted from the journey, he agreed to take the carriage to rest at the Zhenguo Temple as invited. He had no idea that Bian Shi's smile was the smile of the Grim Reaper. Because behind the curtains in the temple pavilion, Bian Shi had hidden 200 axemen assassins. The signal was set. The moment Bian Shi raised his wine cup to drink and threw it to the floor, all the axemen would rush out and chop Guan Yu into mush. When Guan Yu stepped into the temple pavilion, the atmosphere seemed unusually quiet, with the scent of incense floating in the air. But at that second, heaven still sided with the loyal man, comrades. Pu Jing, the abbot of this temple, who happened to be from Guan Yu's hometown, Hedong, had known of Bian Shi's evil plan all along. Abbot Pu Jing couldn't bear to see a good man from his hometown die a violent death in his temple. But if he spoke out directly, he feared Bian Shi's soldiers would kill him. So Abbot Pu Jing walked up to Guan Yu, pretending to greet a fellow townsman. But as he clasped his hands in respect, the abbot secretly glanced at the curtain behind Bian Shi and gave a slight nod as a warning signal. Guan Yu, with his godlike sharp intellect, just seeing the abbot's eyes made him instantly realize the danger. He knew right away he was stepping into a death trap. Guan Yu tightly gripped the handle of the sword at his waist, pretending to walk in and sit at the table with Bianxi. Just as Bianxi smiled brightly, raising his wine cup, getting ready to drink and throw it to the floor to signal. "Hold it, Bianxi!" Guan Yu roared across the temple pavilion, his voice so thunderous that the wine cup in Bianxi's hand trembled. Guan Yu sprang up, pointing his finger at the curtains. "You said you admired me, so why have you hidden axemen behind the curtains?" Bianxi's face turned paler than boiled chicken. Knowing his plan was busted, he hurriedly shouted orders. "Kill him! Chop him to pieces!" 200 axemen tore down the curtains and rushed out to hack him. But Guan Yu was faster. He drew his sword, and with one swing, the front-line axemen were dead. The remaining soldiers paused upon seeing his ruthlessness. Bianxi, seeing the situation turn bad, pulled out his meteor hammer, his signature hidden weapon, and swung it at Guan Yu, aiming to smash his skull. Whoosh! The iron hammer flew through the air towards Guan Yu's face. Guan Yu narrowly dodged it, the hammer missing its target. Guan Yu didn't wait. He charged forward swiftly, grabbed the green dragon blade he left at the pavilion entrance, and swung it. Chop! The blade sliced Bianxi's body in two, blood splashing and dyeing the base of the Buddha statue red. The 200 axemen, seeing their boss sliced to pieces right before their eyes, dropped their axes and fled for their lives, scattering out of the temple in all directions. Guan Yu turned to bow and thank Abbot Pu Jing for saving his life, then quickly walked out, mounted the red hare, and drove his sisters-in-law's carriage furiously through the gates of Shishui Pass. Comrades, the third pass was smashed, 4 generals slain. The deaths of Cao Cao's generals started piling up into a mountain. But the thrill wasn't over, because the 4th pass, Xingyang Pass, waiting ahead, had a general preparing a plan to roast the god Guan Yu alive. Will Guan Yu survive being burned alive? Prepare to get scorched in Part 4. Cut to the action in Part 4, comrades! After Guan Yu narrowly escaped the 200 axemen assassins in the temple, the red hare galloped through the darkness, heading towards the 4th pass, Xingyang Pass. The governor of this pass was named Wang Zhi, comrades. He already knew that Guan Yu had just sliced 4 generals to death. If he ordered soldiers to stand in the way directly, he would surely be chopped into minced pork as the 5th corpse. So Wang Zhi brought out the roasting alive plan, aiming to secretly set fire and burn the god of war into crispy grilled chicken. When Guan Yu arrived at the pass, Wang Zhi pretended to be incredibly kind, coming out to welcome him humbly and inviting him to rest in a luxuriously prepared guest house. Guan Yu saw it was late, and his sisters-in-law were exhausted, so he agreed to stay the night. But at midnight, Wang Zhi ordered his trusted subordinate named Hu Ban to lead 1,000 soldiers with torches and straw to surround the guest house, preparing to burn it down at midnight. But comrades, heaven always has eyes for the loyal. This Hu Ban had heard of Guan Yu's reputation for a long time, so out of curiosity, he sneaked a peek through the guest house window to see what the god of war looked like. Peeking through the window, he saw Guan Yu sitting perfectly straight, stroking his beard and reading the spring and autumn annals majestically by candlelight. Hu Ban was mesmerized by his awe-inspiring presence and accidentally let out a soft gasp. Guan Yu, with his sharp senses, heard the sound and called him in to ask who he was. When he learned the man's name was Hu Ban, Guan Yu's eyes lit up. He quickly took out a letter from his robes. It was a letter that Hu Hua, Hu Ban's father, had entrusted Guan Yu to deliver to his son along the way. Hu Ban read his father's letter and upon realizing Guan Yu was the ultimate filial and loyal man his father highly ordered him to help, Hu Ban broke out in a cold sweat. He quickly knelt, bowed his head, and revealed Wang Zhi's roasting plan immediately. "This is bad, Lord Guan. Wang Zhi ordered me to burn you.
Hurry and wake the ladies to escape. I will secretly open the pass gates for you."
Guan Yu wasted no time, hurried his sisters-in-law into the carriage, and rode the red hare through the darkness out of the pass silently. But they didn't get far before Wang Zhi realized his plan failed. He led torch-bearing cavalry in close pursuit, shouting insults. "You rebel Guan Yu! Where do you think you're escaping to?" Guan Yu lost his patience and turned the red hare around to face him. Wang Zhi thrust his spear, but its speed was nothing compared to the gods. Guan Yu dodged, and with a single swing of the green dragon blade, Wang Zhi's body was sliced cleanly, falling dead from his horse. The fourth pass shattered, the fifth general slain. The intensity didn't end there. Guan Yu rode on until he reached the banks of the Yellow River, which was the fifth pass, Huazhou Ferry, the final barrier between him and Yuan Shao's territory. The commander of this pass was Qin Qi, an aggressive general and a trusted subordinate of the one-eyed Xiahou Dun. Qin Qi refused to let Guan Yu board the ferry to cross the river, insisting and pointing his finger, demanding a border pass from Cao Cao. Guan Yu warned him with good intentions. "I have already slain 5 generals who stood in my way. Do you want to be the 6th? Qin Qi laughed mockingly across the ferry. "You managed to kill those unskilled generals, but don't think you can kill me. Take my sword." With that, Qin Qi charged his horse to slash Guan Yu. Comrades, he truly underestimated the god. The red hare countercharged like lightning, the green dragon blade slicing through the air right at his throat. Chop! Qin Qi's head flew off his shoulders, blood spurting like a fountain, and he fell dead on the sand. The fifth pass was utterly destroyed. The 6th general died a miserable death. Guan Yu ordered the boats seized and grandly escorted the carriage onto the boat to cross the Yellow River. Closing the legendary epic of crossing 5 passes and slaying 6 generals that shook the entire land. But wait, comrades. Once Guan Yu crossed the river, you'd think he'd meet his big brother and hug each other crying in a happy ending. But instead, he had to face Zhang Fei, his hot-tempered third brother, who was boiling with rage, aiming his serpent halberd right at Guan Yu's throat, accusing Guan Yu of being a traitor who served Cao Cao. On top of that, Xiahou Dun led a cavalry unit to seek revenge for his subordinate. The most painful clash of blood brothers is about to explode in Part 5. Cut to the final burst of action in EP6, comrades. After Guan Yu safely crossed the Yellow River, he led the ladies towards the city of Gucheng because he received news that Zhang Fei, our fierce third brother, had taken this city as his base. Guan Yu was overjoyed, smiling from ear to ear, thinking he would finally meet his beloved brother after a long separation and hug him to ease the longing. But when the guards reported Guan Yu's arrival to Zhang Fei, comrades, Zhang Fei didn't run out with a beaming smile to open the gates. Instead, he ordered his soldiers to put on full armor, grabbed his serpent halberd, and galloped out of the city in an absolute rage, eyes wide open, beard bristling. As soon as he saw Guan Yu, Zhang Fei didn't say a word, thrusting his halberd straight at his second brother's throat. Clang! Guan Yu was extremely shocked, barely managing to block it with his green dragon blade in time, shouting loudly, "Third brother! Have you gone mad? It's me, your second brother!" Zhang Fei roared back with a booming voice. "You are not my brother! You are a traitor! You surrendered to serve Cao Cao, accepted the title of Han Shaoting Marquis, and took the gold-broidered robe. Arriving with a carriage today, you probably plan to trick me and capture me for Cao Cao too. I will pierce you until your guts spill out." Guan Yu tried to explain until his mouth went dry. The two sisters-in-law also peeked out from the carriage to confirm that Guan Yu had endured hardships, crossing 5 passes to find Liu Bei. But an aggressive man like Zhang Fei was as stubborn as an ox. He absolutely refused to believe it. And just as the brothers were about to kill each other, heaven sent a helper, or a curse, right on time. Suddenly, a cloud of dust rose from the south, and the sound of horse hooves galloping as an army approached. The vanguard general was Cai Yang, Cao Cao's fierce general, who had come to seek revenge for Qin Qi, his nephew whose head Guan Yu had just sliced off at the ferry. Seeing Cai Yang's army arrive, Zhang Fei pointed his finger and cursed Guan Yu even more. "See, you brought Cao Cao's generals to surround me. Do you still have any excuses?" Guan Yu knew that at this moment 1,000 words couldn't beat a single action. He turned to Zhang Fei with determined eyes. "Third brother, if you don't believe me, I will chop off this general's head to prove my innocence right now." Zhang Fei replied instantly. "Fine. I will sound the war drum for 3 rolls. If you can't chop off his head before the drums end, I will stab you to death." Boom, boom, boom! The first roll of the war drum had just begun. Guan Yu didn't wait for the drum roll to finish. He spurred the red hare, turning around and charging towards Cai Yang's army like a tornado. Before Cai Yang could even open his mouth to curse, Guan Yu closed in and swung the green dragon blade just once. Chop! Cai Yang's head flew off and hit the ground before Zhang Fei's first drum roll even ended. Absolutely intense, incredibly fast. Cai Yang's soldiers, seeing their commander die instantly, scattered and fled into the forest. Seeing Cai Yang's head rolling at his feet, Zhang Fei finally saw the light. He dropped his serpent halberd, fell to his knees, and burst into tears, hugging Guan Yu's leg, begging for forgiveness for his offense and misunderstanding his second brother. The brothers finally reconciled, and shortly after, Liu Bei arrived to join them. The 3 Peach Garden brothers who were separated and scattered had finally reunited, hugging and crying tears of joy once again, perfectly closing the legendary epic of the God of War's long journey. But comrades, even though the 3 brothers successfully reunited, the land of the 3 kingdoms is about to enter its greatest grand war. Because right now, the armies of hundreds of thousands of Cao Cao and Yuan Shao are marching to face each other at the plains of Guan Yu. A war of wits and sharp strategies that will decide the fate of the northern lands. How will Cao Cao defeat Yuan Shao's army, which is many times larger? How mercury-bursting will the prelude to the Battle of Guan Yu be? Follow the action in EP.7, comrades. For today, Deep Dive 3 Kingdoms EP.6 signs off. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to chat with us. Goodbye!